Okay, so welcome. I'm very happy to see you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, the second opportunity to share a little bit about myself and about what I can talk about, because I'm not really a researcher or a scientist or something like that. I can only talk from my experience and from my heart, and that's what I would like to share with you. It was Omnec's idea to call this talk Anja from the Heart, because we were thinking about what shall I do, because I already gave my first presentation in the first day, and then she said, yes, just call it Anja from the Heart, just speak from your heart. And this morning when I woke up, it was, of course, my mind also a little bit again interfering and talking with me. Shall I really speak freely, or shall I use one of my PowerPoints or not, or yes or not? And so I decided to just quickly prepare a little bit, because I have PowerPoints prepared, and it helps me a little bit it's a little bit a thread that I can follow. And what I would like to do, since we are just a few people, and this is a very, very nice experience for me, I just start with that a little bit, sharing, and you just stay with me and keep maybe in the back of your mind if there is anything that you would like to ask me or that we should talk about when it comes to these particular subjects that I would like to share with you, yes? Because the first day when I was giving my first talk, for example, I wanted to dive a little bit into the dark crystal, and I didn't have the time to do that, so that's something that I would like to start with now. It's a little bit unusual maybe, but it has to do with my message and with the experiences that I would like to share. I don't know, do you know the film The Dark Crystal? Are you aware of it? You know it? Yes?
My uncle produced that film.
Excuse me?
My uncle produced that film.
Really?
Yeah, scary.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm just like a chuckle of my body.
Oh.
Profound moment.
Profound moment. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Are you going to stay? Would you like to take a seat?
Thank you. Yes.
Well, just do whatever you feel like. Yeah, you're free. I will just go a little bit deeper into the reason why I'm talking about the Dark Crystal. Because it's really one of my favorite films. It is from 82, I think, 1982. And for me, it is the ultimate story about Atlantis and the fall of the consciousness, and the big story shares and tells how the earth, or how in this particular case it's not really the earth, it's just an environment, is safe from the darkness eventually, because there are these heroes. The heroes in the Dark Crystal are the Gelflings, that the ones you can see here. Yeah, these are the Gelflings, these are the heroes. And these creatures are the rescuers of the world in this particular film. And the other characters are here, the evil ones. These are the Skeksis, and these are the Urus. So these are the good ones, and these are the bad ones. But the thing is that they are just two sides of the same medal. They are just the same energy separated into two parts. So, and the thing is that they destroyed this crystal. So there was this crystal, the crystal that's in the middle, and this is the energy that supported the whole world. And they had a fight over each other, and and so this crystal was damaged, and a little particle of this big crystal was a little splitter, a splint, or what is it? A little part of this, a particle.
Sure.
Yes, exactly. So this was taken out of so it was separated, it was damaged, broken. And then the whole story is unfolding around this, healing this crystal, and these are the characters that are helping the world to save the world and to heal the crystal. And the beautiful thing is that in the end, of course, there's always a good end, and in the end of this film, these two, there's a big conjunction, there is a big three planets are coming together as one, and then this is the right moment, this is a big prophecy, and it says, the film says that the moment when this conjunction is going to happen, so this huge celestial event, and when they manage to bring the part of the crystal back to its original, when this is all coming together, the world is saved, and the world will be healed, and the world will be as one again. And this is exactly what's going to happen at the moment. This is why I love this film so much, because it is so prophetic. It is just telling the story just how it is at the moment happening on the earth. It's exactly the same. We have this separation into two polarities, into the good ones and the bad ones, and we have all these star seeds and all the helpers and so much love coming to the earth, and this is all, we are all the Gelflings, we are all the ones who help heal the planet, heal the crystal, heal the earth. The Dark Crystal film is just a symbol of what's really going on at the moment. This is how I feel. And the beautiful thing is that in the end, so when this whole big solar conjunction is happening and the crystal, and they manage it together to find this particle, this splinter, what was it?
A shard is like a glass.
A shard, exactly. They find it, and in the end, this is a big showdown. They manage to heal the dark crystal, the big crystal. And during this end scenery, she loses her life because they are really outrageous, the dark ones. They are really getting mad because they know they are losing now their power, and they know that they will cease to exist. And so he kills her in the end scenery, and it's so sad because they are the only Gelflings that are left over during this period of time. He feels he has lost his only love, his other half, but still he knows he has to fulfill a mission. So in the last moment, he really manages to heal the dark crystal. And in the end scenery, you really have to watch the film. The two souls, these two parts of the same being, merge again as one. And you see them merging as one, and then they are again this beautiful, full, healed, amazing, androgynous being of light, the oneness. They return to oneness, and then they give them a blessing, and he brings her back to life in the end. So this beautiful androgynous being brings her back to life. And he said, hold her tight because she is a part of you. And now in the light of the healed crystal, go and build your world. And this is so, I feel this is going to happen on the earth as well. This is the prophecy. Yes, I had this memory that this is exactly what happened during the time and the fall of Atlantis, that the unified energies, the beautiful beings who were once one, that they were separated into two, that they fell, that they lost their consciousness, that they fell into the polarity of darkness and of light, and since then have these reincarnation cycles, and that the souls are going through the darkness and going through the light and fighting against each other and all these games of polarity. And for me, the film and everything that's happening at the moment on the earth is like the symbol of the return of the ascended Atlantis, that the healed consciousness or the unified consciousness is going to rise again. This is what I feel that we are right now in the middle of this process. And I don't know, I think you know I thank you so much for your time and for your patience with me. I know that because of my dialect and my accent and my language, because I'm still thinking in German, so I have to always translate everything that I want to say in my mind. During my first talk I think it was on Thursday, I already mentioned the PHAISTOS disc. I don't know, those of you who listen to me already, they already know about the PHAISTOS disc. So I would like to go into this again a little bit deeper. I'm showing you a better picture. It's not so well visible, but for those of you who feel somehow a resonance with this artifact, I can invite you to go to my website, because I uploaded it and you can download it for free and look at it if you want. For me, because I'm just talking about my personal experiences, my personal experience with the PHAISTOS disc is that it is a activator or kind of a memory chip. For me, what I experienced that a light of ray came out of the center of this artifact, that it was just on a poster actually, and out of that poster I received this ray of light going into my third eye, and I experienced it as a kind of an initiation into a memory, and this is exactly where this Atlantis connection comes from my perspective. It's not that I read this or that I was reading about it or that I heard about it. It is an intuitive information that I received or that arose within me during my stay in my encounter. I call it even an encounter, although it is not really a person, it's not really a human being, but I feel there is soul energy and memory energy kind of imprinted in this, It's like with a book, it's like a library. For me, the PHAISTOS disc is like a living library, and when I really look at it and when I feel the energy of the PHAISTOS disc, and I can also clearly say that both sides have a different energy, so this is something for you to explore if you feel like interested in it, because it talks to everyone individually. People, scientists and archaeologists, they try to decipher it and they try to figure out the meaning and what does this mean and that mean, and what does it mean that it is a spiral, and what does it mean the individual symbols and everything. And I can only say I don't know, and I don't really care, because I've always from the first moment on, received it as a whole, received the information as a whole. It's like putting a book under your pillow, and the energy still comes somehow into the aura and still merges with the own field of information. And this is where my information about Atlantis and this whole connection comes from, because I feel that this artifact was created during this time before the consciousness fell. From my personal experience, I feel that the being who created the PHAISTOS disc still had the full awareness and full unified consciousness, and that it knew that the energy would fall during the next thousands of years, and that it would forget itself. It knew, the being who created the PHAISTOS disc knew that consciousness would fall, and that it would need thousands of years to return to its original state of oneness and full self-realization. And it knew that once, sometime in the future, it would find its own creation back, that it would fall back into his or her hands, in my case, in my hands. I'm not saying that I created the PHAISTOS disc, but I feel I'm part of this spirit, and those who are feeling somehow connected with it are part of this spirit as well. And so it is like, when you feel connected to it, it can also give you information and help you feeling inspired, because I feel it's really inspirational. When I look at it, or especially during the time, it was in the year 2000, so this is 23 years ago when I found the PHAISTOS disc, and it was extremely uplifting. It uplifted my energy enormously, and I felt extremely inspired by this artifact and by the whole energy of this PHAISTOS disc. exactly, and this is how I called it, Bearer of Universal Information and Memory Activator from Atlantis. This is just giving it words, yeah, trying to give it words. This is my dog. It's not my dog, it's Omnec's dog. She gave it to me today because this talk is supposed to be Anja from the heart. This dog is also sharing his love from his heart. When it comes to heart and when it comes to love, I can't exclude my dear friends and my Venusian mentors, Omnec and Ray. Omnec Onec, who is sitting here in the front row, and Dr. Raymond Keller, who is also here on this conference and who already spoke a couple of times. I have been with Omnec since 30 years now. I met her for the first time through the TV in 94 approximately. And I met Ray in 21. So to put it in concise, to make it concise, Omnec is my spiritual guide and my spiritual teacher, and she is a bearer of unconditional love. So for all of you who know her, you will confirm that, I guess, because she's amazingly sweet and loving person. And Ray is in a way the same, but he is a man, and so it's a slightly different. For me, Omnec has always been the spiritual part, and Ray is more the combination of both. He's spiritual, and he's also clear and organized, and he has also the male part. So in my personal experience, I feel that Omnec brought the female and the spiritual qualities to my spiritual awakening path, and Ray added it after having processed everything that I had experienced with Omnec, and he brought the male or the masculine aspect to this, and I feel that it's important in my personal spiritual growth and awakening path to balance my own female and male and masculine energies within me. You know, Omnec always said years ago, decades ago, she said that part of the transformation of the earth will be that the masculine and the feminine energies will find back into balance again, because we had this imbalance since thousands of years. We had either more matriarchal structures or patriarchal, mostly patriarchal in the last thousands of years, mostly through the religions and the economics and all the country structures and the money system. All these controlling energies are very masculine, but distorted masculine. It's not a balanced masculine, because the female is so suppressed, or it has been so suppressed. And I know that we are now bringing all that into balance, but it is through us. We are the ones who are bringing it first into balance within ourselves, and then we are radiating a different energy, a healed energy of being in balance, of being more in balance within us. And then this is how we inspire others also to overcome also relationship structures and relationship patterns that are just dysfunctional and that have been set up through religions and cultural, societal, you know what I mean, all these rules and regulations, how relationships and how partnerships and how marriages and everything has to function. And this is still so much going on all over the world in so many countries and in so many minds. So it's so important, I feel, that at least those souls who are incarnated to help break these structures and to raise their own consciousness and to find healing and balance within themselves, that all those souls really work on themselves, and that because we are the change. When we have found this balance within us, we are the ones who also change these collective consciousness structures and break all these patterns and rules. I hope this makes sense. This is an illustration that I created spontaneously. It was an inspiration because you know that I just wrote this book. I just wrote in March. I was in Turkey for 2 weeks, and I had this spontaneous feeling of there was a stream of consciousness, And I all of a sudden had the feeling of writing everything out of myself. All the last 30 years, my whole life of coming to my spiritual awakenings and my spiritual path at the site of Omnec and with Ray and everything that happened in my whole life. So it just poured out. Everything just poured out. This was a spontaneous inspiration that I had when I was in the midst of writing my book, and it's in my book. I mean, it's explained in my book why I designed this little illustration. It's in a hexagram, as you can see. So what we can see here is also a depiction of harmony, of harmonization within me. That I feel I'm like a family within myself. I am is of course the divine. And I am the child, and I am also the divine feminine, and I am the divine masculine, and I'm also the mother, and I am the father. And this is the heart center chakra that's balancing all these energies out within everyone. This is just showing how I felt it or how I experienced it. This is another illustration that's not so new anymore, but probably most of you have not seen it yet. It's an illustration showing a journey of soul through the levels of consciousness. It's also called the Godworlds. I know you can't really see it so well, but it's also on my website for free download, and it's in my book. And it's also in Omnec's book, the Handbook of Venusian Spirituality. This is just to become aware or to make oneself aware of the levels of consciousness. So the upper part is, the white part is stands for the God planes, or Anami Lok, or it's the divine. And this yellow part stands for the soul dimension. Golden part stands for the etheric dimension. And Omnec always explained the etheric in this particular case. I mean, you can also sometimes, some others use the word etheric differently, but we don't want to cling to the words. It's more just standing for this separation kind of between the worlds of unity and the worlds of polarity. This is here standing. You can also imagine like a mirror. That this etheric dimension is like the mirror, mirroring the divine consciousness or the unity, worlds of unity into the lower polar world. So here everything is in union, and here everything has two sides. It's the dual worlds or the polar worlds. And the blue dimension here stands for the mental, and the purple for the causal, the rose or pink for the astral. This is where Omnec lived before she came to Earth on Venus, the astral level. And the green part stands for the physical. I created another. This is the same background as you can see. So this shall show the journey of soul through the levels of dimension. So I have, as you can see, I've drawn here this path, this white path. So you can imagine that the soul is born created from the Creator. The soul it's like a spark of God. It's a particle of God, and it's created in the realm of unity, and then it starts its journey through the levels of dimension. And this is how Omnec always explained it in her spiritual teachings, how the souls are created, and that they are traveling down through the levels of consciousness. And in every level of consciousness, or in every frequency, every level is like a frequency. This is the only difference. And that the soul always surrounds itself with a mantle or with a body that's made of the same frequency as dimension is made of, for its protection, and so that it can make experiences. So for example, when the soul is created, it travels first in the etheric dimension, surrounds itself with an etheric body, and then it travels to the mental dimension, and the soul surrounds itself with the mental dimension, with the mental body, so that it has the ability to create with the thinking process. It's a creative, it's a divine trait, it's a divine ability to be a conscious creator with imagination and with mental capacity. This is an ability that's a divine ability, and it was compromised in the fall of Atlantis. It was compromised, and it was kind of kidnapped and taken away, and now we are recapturing our conscious abilities and our mental powers back so that we are conscious creators again. This is the whole part of the transformation process, so that we are again conscious creators, and not unconscious, manipulated beings that are just in control of what others want us to be and what others want us to, where we should put our energy in. We are the ones who can have access to the divine energy non-stop by ourselves, and we are the ones who can create whatever we imagine. And these are all the powers that God gives us, that we have. And the causal dimension then is the dimension that gives the soul the ability to memorize everything that it experienced, to have memories, to have soul remembrance, and to remember past lives, and to recall everything that it needs to know. And the astral dimension gives the soul the ability to have feelings and emotions. And the physical, of course, is our physical body that we use in the physical realm. So this is a big, big journey, and I created this illustration particularly to also show at the same time how I've personally experienced the journey of twin souls, because this is why I put it here in the divine. I have here this egg, this oval-shaped egg is the soul that is carrying the divine masculine and the divine feminine within itself. So each soul is complete, is in itself. And this is, here you can already see the divine feminine and the divine masculine. When this soul enters the lower dimensional realms, it has the ability to go into separate incarnations. And this is what we are now experiencing and what I am experiencing. This is why I can talk about it, because it's out of experience. This is not theory. I have read about the twin souls for the first time, I think 20 years ago, in one of the books from Saint Germain. And for me it was always like a dream or like a fairy tale or something that's really absolutely far beyond what I would ever be able to experience. I did not even dare thinking about it further. It was just something that I read about. And now I know that it's real. I know that twin souls are incarnated, and that this means that the same soul is incarnated in two bodies, and it can happen. It happens to some souls, obviously, that they encounter their own soul frequency in another physical body. And this is very powerful. It's a soul recognition, and it is from my personal experience, it has nothing to do with a romance or with directly going into a love affair or something like that. People hope that and dream that, but it's actually not the case. Not in my personal experience. It's really something else, because it is a spiritual awakening. And a spiritual awakening means that it is coming with a purging process of the ego, and this is very painful. So it's not only just flowers and rose quartz clouds and just singing songs in the garden and being in bliss or so. No, because everything that's not in unity consciousness, everything that's still not in balance, everything that is still in fear, in doubt, in expectation, or in some kind of lower density consciousness is triggered and needs to be purged, and it will find its way back to soul, back to love. So it all goes through the heart. The soul recognition is a heart center chakra awakening. And everything that's not in pure love consciousness yet will be triggered, and so that it will be balanced, and so that it will arise in one's own and ascend in the own pure love consciousness. So it's a big process, and I'm aware that there are other avenues of awakening as well. You can also have a near-death experience. You can also have a spiritual awakening, a spontaneous enlightenment through meditation or mantra singing. Every soul chooses its own path of awakening. when it has decided to go through this awakening in this lifetime. Oh yes, I love these illustrations, so I'm just sharing them with you because it shows, of course, it's depiction of twin flame illustrations. You see here the divine masculine, the divine feminine, you have the yin yang, you have this full balance, and of course here it's the same. This is, you can imagine, this is Venus and this is Mars, and in between is the Holy Grail. This is the God, the pure love, pure God essence. So what I have understood so far is that this is really, from my personal experience and perspective, the Holy Trinity for me is not only the Holy Spirit and Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I don't really understand this Holy Trinity so well yet. I would say what I understand or what I see in the Trinity is the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the divine. This is the balance. The divine feminine and the divine masculine do need to be balanced. They balance themselves out within me. I balance it out within me through being connected with soul consciousness and with my divine origin, with the Creator. So the focus goes always to the divine back. And this is exactly why everything is turning upside down. You know, when you're having this kind of soul recognition or this special experience with the twin flame encounter, nothing stays the same. You can't just continue as you have always lived in the first 20, 40, 30, 40, 50 years or so, because everything is turning upside down or inside out. The heart is really, all of a sudden, it's outside. I changed so much since I experienced that. I can't believe you. I'm not the same Anja anymore. I'm going through such a big process, and one of my friends, my girlfriend Marianne, I said to her, you know, I'm not sure if I would want to reverse this experience if I had the choice, because it is really so, in a way, it's really very painful also to have this, go through this experience of awakening. And she said, you know, no, it's worth it, because I never heard you speak about love so much since you are going through this experience, and you never shared so much love, and you are so authentic since then, even more than always. I mean, I was always an honest person, but I had fears and doubts, and now I'm standing here in Mount Shasta and talking about my stuff. This is, what's going on, you know? This is all new. It's like God put me in this position all of a sudden. It doesn't matter if there's just one person or 5 or 10. I'm here standing talking. This is something, it's great. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I'm still overwhelmed. It's still not really, it still puzzles me what's happening here. I'm still going through a process, honey, yes. We came to break the matrix. I chose to include this picture in my illustration because it really shows what I feel that's going to happen, or that's at the moment happening. The earth is surrounded and really infused, is that the correct word? We are the incarnated, bringers of love and light to the earth. We are the ones who help the whole planet uplift itself to a higher frequency. All those souls who choose love and choose their connection with the divine above everything else, above old patterns, above old structures and everything and egoic things. And yes, we are the ones who change the world. That's why we are born. That's why I'm born. And somehow it's amazing when you come to this realization. Omnec always had this consciousness. She was brought here with this full awakened consciousness, and I was put at her side pretty early, but for me, everything that she shared was just, in the beginning it was fascinating, overwhelming, but still it was more theory because I didn't really know it, and now I know it. I'm about to be finished. I just want to make a few announcements because I still have a couple of books here. If you still would like to get books, please take the chance. I already reduced the prices a little bit because I can't take them with me back to Germany. I have to leave them here anyway, but they are also, of course, precious books, so if you would like to give them as a present, as a gift to somebody, especially The Angels Don't Cry, this is Omnec's Life on Earth. I still have a few, and you can of course, come to me and ask me questions about the books. My own book is Venus and I still have a few here. And this is just an announcement for you so that you have heard about it. If you would like to come to Germany next year, I'm planning on organizing 2 conferences. This is also part of my whole path of awakening at the moment, that I feel confident enough to organize conferences myself, because I know that this is just important to share this information and to share this presence with people. So Dr. Raymond Keller he already agreed to come, and he's going to be, it was his idea actually to call this conference the Ultimative UFO Disclosure Conference. It's going to take place in June 2024. And the second conference that's going to take place is 2 weeks after, and this is going to be the spiritual conference. So this is going to be called From Venus with Love Conference. And maybe you already get an idea now why I put it like that. The first conference is more for the nuts and bolts ufologists, for those who are more still into outer phenomena and interested in science. I mean, it's not bad, otherwise I wouldn't organize it, but it's of course also to get them in contact a little bit with me, because I'm the organizer of all of that, but I'm not going to speak there probably. I will be the host and just announce everything. But the thing is that I'm hoping to also attract some of these very masculine people who are into the ufology, and maybe some of them would like to come then to the From Venus with Love conference, which is going to take place 2 weeks after at a beautiful castle in southern Germany. And this is going to be really spiritual. I want to talk there, of course, also about love and the twin souls and the transformation of the earth, and also about Jesus and Mary Magdalene, because this is something that I'm becoming aware of now more and more, that the Jesus, Mary Magdalene were also twin flames, and the energies are now coming back to the earth through the twin flames. It's not that these individual souls are incarnating, but it's the soul essence, it's the energy of this balance and this unconditional love that the twin souls share and that they hold for each other. And this is what we are sharing with each other. So this is also one of the parts that I want to include in these conferences, in this conference. So I thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure for me, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you very much for the moment.